All right, so we're looking at type 2 equations, ax equals b. Now here what we have is we have a variable that is being multiplied by a whole number or fraction. So we see that we've got a times x. To isolate the variable in type 2 equations, you have to perform the opposite inverse operation to cancel out the coefficients. Now, important to note, if it's integers and it's got a negative side, you have to deal with that negative. So treat it as it is. Now, if you're solving an equation with decimals or fractions, the rules are the same, but if necessary, review how to multiply and divide your fractions. So multiply numerators by numerators, denominators by denominators. When you're multiplying, when you're dividing, you apply the reciprocal. Okay, so we did all that work with fractions, so those rules still apply. Okay, so let's see what we're doing. So basically, I think the thing to remember is that the opposite operation, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and the opposite of dividing is multiplying. We're always trying to get things on their own. So here we have our first example, 16n equals 80. So we have n multiplied by 16, so we're going to divide it by 16. Because we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side. And what happens is 16 divided by 16 equals 1, so it disappears, right? So on this side, we'll have n, and on the other side, we'll have, 80 divided by 16, which equals 5. Okay, and you can test that. 16 times 5 equals 80, so that is correct. That will work. Here we have 0.2x equals 5, so we divide by 0.2. On the one side, the 0.2 divided by 0.2 equals 1, so it goes away. So we get x is equal to 5 divided by 0.2, which is equal to 25. Okay, and if you want to test that, 0.2 times 25 equals 5. Okay, now here I have a situation where I've got a division. So the opposite of division is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by 7. It's going to cancel out on this side. And I'm going to be left with y is equal to negative 4 times 7, which is negative 28. And you can test that. You can always test that if you go back to left side, right side. Negative 28 divided by 7 should equal negative 4. Negative 28 divided by 7 does equal negative 4, so it works. So that could be your check. All right, now here I have a negative m equals 8. Well, that means I'm multiplying by a negative 1. So I need to divide both sides by negative 1. On this side, they will cancel out. And I will be left with m is equal to, well, 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8. Okay, so watch your negative signs. Alrighty. 2/3 x. So basically what you're going to divide by or multiply by is 3 over 2x. And you do it to one side, and you're saying, how does that work, miss? Well, look. The 3 will divide out with the 3, and the 2 will divide out by the 2. So the 2/3 has disappeared. Now remember, this is like having 18 over 1. If I put it in fraction form, times 3 over 2. So 18 times 3 is 54 over 2. And then I can divide 54 by 2 and get 27. Okay, if you want to check if that works, you can check. Times 2 divided by 3, it works. Okay, I'll trust you to do that yourself. Okay, 3/10 c equals 9. Now we can do this, I'm going to break it down, I'm going to do it in 2 steps just to show you how this exactly works. So first I'm going to multiply by 10 to get rid of my denominator. So when I do that, I'm left with 3c is equal to 90. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So you can do it in 2 steps. That's what I'm saying to you. It still will work. 3's will divide out, and I'll get c is equal to 90 divided by 3, which is 30. And again, put it in, see if it works. I think you will find that it will. Okay? Here, 2x equals -5. I divide both sides by 2. The 2 cancels out, and I get x is equal to -5 over 2. I don't like the improper fraction, so 2 goes into 5 2 times with one left over, so it'll be -2 and 1/2. Okay. Oh, there's one over here. I forgot. Here, 3.14d is equal to 12.56. Don't be scared by the decimals. We're simply going to go 3.14. We're dividing because dividing is the opposite of multiplying. On this side, it cancels out. And I'm left with d is equal to, well, 12.56 divided by 3.14 is equal to 4. Okay, and if you wanted to check, 4 times 3.14 equals 12.56. Okay, so here's a chance for you to try some and then come back and check and see if you got them right. So you might want to pause on the video and then press play when you're ready to check your work. Okay, so here, 5c is equal to 35. We're going to divide both sides by 5. Hopefully you did that. So c will equal 7. Okay, here x is multiplied by -4, so we're going to divide both sides by -4. So x will equal 9. The -36 divided by -4 is equal to 9. Right? Yes. Okay, here we're dividing by -2, so we're going to times both sides by -2. It will cancel out on this side. We'll get y is equal to, well, 14 times -2 is -28. Don't forget your negative signs. If it helps to put brackets like that, that might help, just to make sure we're not subtracting. Okay? Alrighty, here, a little tricky. You have to divide by -1. So the negatives cancel out on this side. So v equals -9. And again, if you want to change the sides just because our brains like to deal with it that way, you're welcome to do that. Okay. Let's check these. Well, first I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Cancels out on this side, so I'll get 3x is equal to -8 times 4 is -32. And then divide both sides by 3. Okay, so x will equal, because this will cancel out, -32 divided by 3, well, it doesn't go in evenly. 3 goes into 32 10 times with 2 left over. Okay. And you shouldn't leave it as an improper fraction. So basically all I'm doing this is I'm changing from improper to mixed. We prefer mixed to improper. Okay, here we're going to go here and then multiply by 8 first. And again, some people don't. They'll just multiply it by 8 over 3, but I like to break it down just to make sure we're figuring it out right. So I'll get 3c is equal to, well, 6 times 8 is 48, and it's negative. Okay, and then I'm going to divide by 3. On this side, the 3 divides out. So I'm going to get c is equal to, well, -48 divided by 3 is -16. Okay, alrighty. And a couple more here. Oh, gross. Now, You're saying, Miss, that is not pretty. You're right. So we're first going to change this one here to an improper fraction. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7. So 7 over 4x is equal to, and I'm going to change this one to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, now I can deal with it. Okay, so this I'm going to do using the fraction form. So multiply by 4 over 7. And you're saying, Miss, how does that work? Well, the 4 cancels out with the 4. And the 7 cancels out with the 7. So now I don't have anything there. And I'm left with x is equal to, well, 5 over 2 times 4 over 7. So remember, when we're multiplying fractions, it's top times top, bottom times bottom. So we'll get 5 times 4 is 20 over 2 times 7, which is 14. Now we've got an improper fraction. 14 goes into 20 once, and there are 6 left over. Now I can still reduce this because 6 and 14 can both be divided by 2. So it would be 1 3/7. Now, you'll notice in this one, and you'll probably when you're doing it, that you wanted to change to improper first, so you could do those operations. Okay, I don't know why I said firsts. Okay, so just make sure, and you just needed to do the fraction operations. Okay, now here we have a decimal. Decimal's infinitely easier. We divide both sides by 3.2. On our side with the variable, they're going to cancel out, so I'll get f is equal to, well, 9.6 divided by 3.2 is equal to 3. And to test that, 3 times 3.2 does equal 9.6, so it does work. Alrighty, so now you got some time to do some practice yourself. Hopefully all these went pretty straightforward for you. And you can solve some equations.